While Wall Street was sleeping this past weekend, we had a Bitcoin whale sell off over 24,000 Bitcoin. Was it because Wall Street is now involved and they're trying to manipulate and potentially suppress the price? We've also got a company, a major entity with over 3% of the entire Bitcoin network right now, right this second. And we've also got Larry Fink and BlackRock, the ETF, scooping up Bitcoin at an all-time rate. I'm joined here with my friends from Pleb Lab. We've got Carr over here, and then we've also got Francisco from Yopaki. So we're gonna dive into all this. But boys, how we doing? I think we got your mics muted over here. So make sure we get that always. I don't know if I muted it or what's the deal here, but
Can you hear us?
there we go. Now we can hear you guys. But now we've got all this going on. So how do you guys feel about Michael Saylor and MSTR now having 3% of that entire network?
Go ahead.
Cool, I guess, right? Cool. Like, if you're listeners, if you're green candies, remember me from last time. I told them to stack 21 Bitcoin. So, do you remember, boys? I said stack 21 Bitcoin, not 6.5. Quit being soft. So if they stack 21 Bitcoin, they'll be all right. But I don't know. What do you think, Brandon?
I mean, I think it's unique, right? Because everybody always talks about Bitcoin with the decentralization and everything like this. But I'm curious, like, kind of what your guys' opinion is, because I mean, I'm of the opinion if Bitcoin couldn't survive the Bitcoinization of finance that we're kind of running through right now, you know, we honestly probably wouldn't get Bitcoin as the global reserve currency and all these other things. Like, this is just kind of par for the course. But it does worry me a little bit with kind of what we're seeing, like the OGs that came in a long time ago, you know, having nearly 200,000 Bitcoin, just kind of selling off 24,000 Bitcoin over the weekend. Barely bats an eye. We see Bitcoin drop by $4,000, I think, on the overall price. So like 3-ish%. And then all of a sudden it gets scooped up and it was like everything was fine. And it's all because we have these big giants coming in looking to buy all this Bitcoin. So it's encouraging just kind of seeing the amount of people that are coming in. But it also worries me that, you know, we have BlackRock, we have, you know, Michael Saylor and all these other guys now getting in and having just so much Bitcoin. Obviously, you know, if you run a node, our vote matters the same. But I think it's interesting, just kind of here, a thought experiment of, you know, seeing all these big dogs coming in and seeing, you know, these giant shifts in the market. So, you know, as you know, the plebs here, who are the builders of you guys, like, do you have any sort of opinion on these, you know, treasury companies coming in and almost like the finance bros, the suit coiners coming in, so to speak?
That's yeah, that's a legitimate concern. I don't know if you're aware. I'm pretty sure you are, Brandon, but you know, there's a big conglomerate of tourism down in Mexico, which is where I'm from. You know, Murano, they made an announcement a couple of weeks ago about their intention to buy $10 billion worth of Bitcoin in the next, you know, decade or not, or whatnot. And they haven't officially made that announcement of we bought this amount. It was just more of an intent, right? And it made the news. A lot of people in Mexico caught that. You know, for us that operate in that region, LATAM, starting with Mexico, it definitely caught the attention of those wealthy investors who are maybe, you know, playing around with Bitcoin, and then they read that. Yeah, I mean, $10 billion, that's not something plebs can really contribute. In terms of what you said about the price, sure, you know, we're sub 100, I don't know what we are right now, 110, 109, but still, right, above 100K. You know, retail freaks out, and then Wall Street comes in and scoops it up. I hear what you're saying, but I don't know that we truly knew, or if we were ignorant to the fact that for Bitcoin to really go mainstream, I think this was going to happen all along, right?
Yeah, and I think it's unique with all of this too, because I mean we're seeing kind of, like I've been saying, the financialization of Bitcoin or the Bitcoinization of finance depends on how you kind of want to look at it. But I mean, we see the amount of shorts that just got liquidated, the largest liquidation that we saw since December of last year. And then, you see all these treasury companies come on. And, the thing that worries me is that last cycle, obviously we had FTX, we had BlockFi, Celsius. We had a lot of these bad players come in and just essentially issue that paper Bitcoin. Obviously, we got the meme paper Bitcoin summer. Many are saying that I'm the face of paper Bitcoin summer with the new stash and
No,
everything.
you're not. How dare they?
with the new mustache and the hairdo. I'm joking, of course. But what we're seeing, we're seeing 173 publicly traded companies now coming online. And a lot of these guys don't have the underlying business. They're essentially just raising up money, and it seems like it's on a house of cards. Now, you guys are obviously a little bit closer in the, raising money kind of aspect of that. Do you think that this model is somewhat sustainable for people who are in companies that are just essentially buying money or raising money to buy Bitcoin and just kind of keep going through that circle?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where it's unfortunate to see, because you actually have legitimate companies that are actually building, sustainable business and, optimizing for revenue, building amazing products. We have a lot of those businesses inside of Pleb Lab. Yopaki's one of them. Zaprite's one of them. Stacker News is one of them. And we're going to keep building those companies inside of Pleb Lab. And unfortunately, like, the ones that are getting all the attention are the ones that you're talking about. So it definitely does hinder, access to capital for those companies when we're out there trying to get some, any type of publicity or PR. So we're definitely grateful to people like you, Brandon, who are allowing people like us to go on your podcast and talk about them. It's unfortunate, but like, it's just the game that's being played this summer, and everybody's talking about these type of companies. And just going to say this again, but hats off to you for, giving people like us a platform, because we're actually the ones out there building companies. Francisco, you could talk about this, but like, it's tough out there. It's tough out there to raise capital for real Bitcoin companies actually producing real products and giving it to real users. It's much easier to do that, what you're seeing.
I do have a quick question or comment. Ahead. So, Brandon, when you mentioned last cycle where we had the Celsius, BlockFi, FTX, were you implying a similar scenario?
I think that's the potential. I think I see kind of two black swan events potentially right now. Is that, a lot of these guys that are, treasury companies, they're not going to trust themselves to hold these private keys, right? So they're going to have some sort of custodian.
Exactly.
Who's the number one custodian right now? It's Coinbase, right? So Brian Armstrong, Baldy Locks, whatever you want to call him. He's the big dog when it comes to custodian. The ETFs, 9 out of the 12 or 13 are all held by Coinbase. And Fidelity is like the only one that's kind of is holding their own keys. Everybody else is like kind of just giving it off to somebody else and just not really worrying about it. And so I think that is kind of where I see the potential. And then, on the flip side of things, there's also, a lot of these companies that are raising a bunch of money, trying to, I guess, like you guys said, like it isn't easy to raise money. But when I hear things like, I talked to Mark Moss, and he said that, when Ramaswamy's company came online and wanted to, buy Bitcoin and put it on the balance sheet, they had like 48 hours to do their due diligence, and they raised like an insane amount of money just because of his notoriety. So, stuff like that falls through the cracks. And, you see the amount of FOMO and all that kind of stuff that is coming on the venture capital side, that they're just dumping all this money. It's not as crazy potentially as the ICO craze that we saw last cycle, where, people were just dumping millions and millions of dollars into these crazy meme coins. But on this flip side of it, it's like, how much debt can you raise? And is it all sustainable? That's where I think like my biggest worry is. And, to your point, Carr, is like, well, these guys can just raise all this money, and then it's going to leave, a sour taste potentially in the mouths of, venture capitalists who get burned by some of these companies. It's going to make it harder for the builders out there.
Well, I don't want to take away from how good this is for Bitcoin. So like me as a hodler, I don't want to take away from like, this is good, right? People are getting access to Bitcoin. People are buying Bitcoin. People are holding Bitcoin. So, just speaking from that perspective, this is good for Bitcoin, right? Like people are going to be able to buy these, shit coins from a Robinhood app or whatever. And, people are going to learn to not touch this stuff or touch this stuff, and they're going to get burned and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not trying to take away from that. Like this is a good thing ultimately, right? Just like with any other shitcoin, but just giving you an alternative perspective of what this means coming from here, what we're seeing on the ground. And, I was just talking to an LP probably like a month ago here at Capital Factory, and he was just kind of telling me, what it was like from his perspective. And, I won't say who he was, but he was talking about like how he just didn't like the behavior from all these people that you're talking about here today on the podcast. And he didn't like what he saw, and that he just didn't want to invest in anything, whether it was a fund, whether it was a startup, or whether it was anything. So he's just turned off by the whole thing. And so he's just buying Bitcoin from an exchange, and there's that. And then I've heard from like OGs who would normally invest in these startups either as an angel or something, and then they're just kind of like kind of waiting and seeing for what the price is going to do. And then I'm hearing from other people who are just like people like ourselves, and we're just kind of somewhere in the middle where it's just like, how is this going to play out? And, and so I think at the end of the day, I think the best advice to do is just keep stacking and just kind of pay attention, right, to what's going on. Watch stuff like Green Candle. Brandon pays attention to more than anybody that I know. Right? I mean, you do. Like, who else is paying attention more than you are when it comes to this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great, I guess, influencers, so to speak, or other people who are making great content out there as well. So I don't want to say I'm the only one, but of course, you guys, we got 200 of you guys in the chat between YouTube and Twitter. So you guys are all coming in here to tune into this great live chat that we've got going on. But I mean, between all that, right? I mean, I think that when we see banks come in like Goldman Sachs and these companies, right? I think although it is a big worry of mine that there is this potential for paper Bitcoin and all of that, it is a positive in a sense, because I think it adds some sort of validity to it. Now, my mom, for example, right, when Elon Musk was getting into Bitcoin originally and was accepting Teslas for that, she's like, hey, Elon Musk is a smart character. So if he's getting into it, there must be something. Of course, that was before his whole Doge fiasco. But I mean, long story short, I think like to the average normie, this is something that does open their eyes. But, there's also like kind of the flip-flopping from Wall Street that I am very tentative about, right? I mean, we were talking about this a little bit pre-show, but, obviously MicroStrategy, Strategy B, whatever you want to call it now, is holder of 3% of the entire network. And the top holder of Strategy is Vanguard. So we've got Vanguard now, which is a, quote, anti-Bitcoin firm, is now the largest institutional holder of this. And then we also have, JP Morgan, and those guys in the chat know I love to show this chart, where Jamie Dimon, who's like calling, Bitcoin out for all of these different things, saying it's used for illegal activities, all of this, they're now all going so heavily into these companies. Now, of course, there's 173 publicly traded ones. I mean, from the private companies that they've announced, there's, 58. Of course, there's a lot more private companies that are just not being as public about it, that maybe aren't on this website. But, of these 100 companies, or 172 publicly traded ones, there's got to be some that fall apart, right? I mean, it's like, that's where I think, that the negative kind of connotation is going to come from, because you're already seeing it with some of these venture capitalists that you guys are talking to. And, I think that this is just kind of something where that's the potential of what we could see here going forward, is that more of these venture capitalists would just get a little wary about it. Now, as a guy that's holding some Bitcoins on the balance sheet, like, you guys, I'm not asking you guys to disclose any amounts or anything of the companies. How do you kind of balance that with, what we see with the volatility? Obviously, we've got Bitcoin crashing and burning to 110,000. Like, it's all over. We might as well pack it up at this point. But obviously that's tongue in cheek. But with the volatility of Bitcoin and kind of seeing it go up and down, how are you guys balancing that with this bull cycle, bear market, whatever you want to call it, that we're in right now?
Yeah, I mean, let's just state that Brandon does need to go back to the running of the bulls to take us back to all-time highs. It depends. It's a two-part answer for me personally. Obviously, as a business owner, we do hold, portion of our funds in Bitcoin. So, of course, it changes from day to day. One day it's amazing, and then the next day it just goes down. As a Bitcoiner, I do hodl. And as you mentioned, Brandon, I mean, having JP Morgan, especially specifically Jamie Dimon being such a hater of Bitcoin, and, slowly starting to say, well, I mean, if our customers request it, if our customers really want it, I guess we'll help them out a little bit, right? I mean, I don't think we'll ever see the flip-flop from that to Saylor levels, because Saylor was, also anti-Bitcoin. But I think that the biggest challenge in the number go up, number go down, as someone that's running a business, is the convincing of, the Bitcoin being here to stay, and then convincing a customer to buy an amount, and then maybe a week later there's a 15% drop. So I think this is where places like Plevlav really, really matter, right? Because you're truly understanding what's being built on Bitcoin, not just the Wall Street news, and just waiting for, is retail gonna adopt this cycle, or is it gonna be the next cycle after Wall Street has scooped up the majority of it? So education continues to be super important for us. The volatility will be here. It's not going away. It's not dead. We all believe it's going to infinity. It's just going to be some time.
Yeah, I also think too, Jamie Dimon has been somebody who's been anti-Bitcoin for the longest time that I can remember. Mm-hmm. I've always been a fan of just watching what he does instead of what he says. I think all those guys, you just got to watch what they do instead of what they say. Yeah, and so I think you hit it right on the nail, Brandon, when you were saying look at them scooping up this and scooping up that, and Vanguard being the biggest holder of strategy. That's not a mistake. That doesn't just happen. So I mean, they're literally managing a lot of people's 401ks. This is not by mistake. They're not dumb people. They're very smart. They're very good at their jobs. Let's just say. So I think they're paying attention. I think they're paying attention more than people realize. They're probably watching this right now. They're probably Green Candle subscribers. So I would give them credit. They are. I don't know if you saw the Harvard guy who walked back a lot of his comments. So I think they are paying attention. I think they know where the alpha is. I think they are subscribers. I think they are looking at everything. And so you just gotta let them know, because eventually everybody's gonna come in. They're all going to come in, right? And this is the lifestyle that they want. I mean, who doesn't want to be ripping beers at 5 p.m., talking about green candles and Bitcoin and stuff? You want that job. How many guys have we seen come from TradFi, the past, 365 days from Bitcoin? A lot. I've seen a lot of people come from TradFi and start building on Bitcoin. There's a lot of founders that are coming over. So I think that's just going to keep happening.
Yeah, and I think like everybody's just kind of realizing, I mean, Larry Fink has come out and said recently that the 60/40 portfolio is dead. Like a lot of these different things. We even had the Wells Fargo CEO. I don't know if you guys saw this not too long ago, but he said, with strategy, the unique thing that it does bring is that, because it's performing so well, now we have to have the finance bros actually look at Bitcoin as a viable asset because strategy is just whipping everybody's ass on Wall Street. So I mean, like, they've engineered a lot of these various bond type of products with Strike, Strife, all of this, and they're trying to tap into that $300 trillion bond market. And Wells Fargo CEO said this might be the most underappreciated Bitcoin story of 2025. And then if you just connect a couple dots here, which I love to do on this channel, but Jamie Dimon has said that there's a crack in the bond market and that the bond market is going to fall apart here very quickly. So that's where I think that's the kind of connection that I think that they're all seeing is that the traditional financial world, it doesn't make any sense anymore. And so what Bitcoin is doing is at least bringing a little bit of sense, so to speak, to the market. And so, when you look at strategy, the price to earnings ratio is 4.7. And, for the kids at home here, that's very low comparatively. I think it's like 496th out of the top 500 companies. And so, when you're looking at things like that and how, much how well their revenue was doing this past quarter, 13th, I believe, in revenue and all of these things, it does make traditional finance at least bend the knee a little bit where they're going to have to start offering this to their clients. And so granted, I don't love it where we're seeing a lot of these people kind of trust these custodians with Bitcoin. I mean, I truly believe in that self-custody aspect. But I do think it is, a small step forward. And I think we're going to start to get at least some more TradFi people coming over a little bit. I mean, of course, we've seen Larry Fink and all of the, bros here kind of figure out that, hey, I need to accept Bitcoin or at least, figure out a way how to make some money off of this thing. So, I know it can be difficult to raise money in the short term, but I think, this is at least going to maybe open up the doors. Is there light at the end of the tunnel here, Carr, you think? Where
totally, dude, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, they're already losing their application devs, right? Like the last cycle, was it 21? We saw a lot of people coming from Google and the tech space building Bitcoin companies. This cycle, we're seeing a lot of people from like Deloitte and like JP Morgan and like all these traditional finance companies build on Bitcoin. They're already losing their employees. So it's just a matter of time before they even come over. I mean, we saw the news from like PayPal. Now they're integrating Bitcoin payments too as well. Like it's all happening. It's just a small little thing that we're going through, and then that'll die off just like everything else, like you said in the beginning. It's just this summer type of thing. But once the price starts running, everything is on the table at that point. Francisco, you know about that. Like you remember last cycle, it was crazy.
Mm-hmm. And on the flip side, to double on what you said, Brandon, it does help to sell Bitcoin services like we do because of that legitimacy, right? The seal of approval that Wall Street has given. So it does help. Definitely, it's not just a bunch of cyberpunks just believing in it, but it does have that, that branding, if you will.
Yeah. So what do you think of all of this now, Francisco, with, what you're dealing with Yopaki? I mean, you guys are obviously bringing in a lot of, I guess, attention into the LATAM, specifically in Mexico. I mean, you guys were crazy enough to, plaster a little something on the central bank here. I had to pull it up here, plaster a little something. Yeah. So, I mean, you guys are obviously making some noise at one point in time here when you were plastering.
Wait, was that you guys?
Yeah. Well,
I don't think I was there.
What was this here, Francisco? Why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here?
The timing's pretty cool, Brandon, because so today, August 25th, is the 100th anniversary of the central bank.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Today, right?
Of the Mexican
what you're
bank?
seeing on screen right now is just a bunch of plebs organizing Mexico's first Bitcoin block party, Bitcoin only, because there's other crypto stuff that has been happening for years, but it was Bitcoin only. And one of the things we wanted to do that was fun and rebellious was the thing that you've seen in other places be done, like I think Germany and in England, and it was to flash the Bitcoin logo into the Mexican central bank, which a lot of people have known us for this, which is true. This year when we did that, 2023, we actually didn't have an app, we didn't have any tech stack or anything. It's just Carlos and I wanting to build something for Mexico. So the best way to do that was through an event, get people together. We had a lot of the plebs from Pleb Lab came down. We had people from different parts of Mexico travel for that. We had about 100, 110 people attend, and that
it made the news too. I think it made
the news in Mexico. I cannot disclose who, but there were a number of Mexican politicians that DM'd us and said, "Man, that was pretty badass."
There's somebody's son apparently.
Yeah, some big people, man. So this honestly, this year, or 2023, we noticed that a movement was started in Mexico, with Mexico City being the epicenter. And from this, a lot has stemmed, in terms of the builders and people moving to Mexico City and starting additional businesses. It's the bit signal. Someone said, it is the bit signal. Yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. So that 2023, 2024, we did it again, and this time was in a pretty historical part of Mexico City. Pleb Lab joined the party, and they actually started their their international journey. So
Startup Day,
Startup Day, International, Mexico City. So again, pretty successful. We had, different builders from different parts of the world. And we've noticed the trend now for 2 years, or, this will be the third year. But for those 2 years, one of the things we did notice was that when we've done these types of events, something magical happens, in the city. And coincidentally, I have a friend who's been quietly working on a place down in Mérida, that's in the south of Mexico, Mérida, Yucatan. And he mentioned to me earlier this year, this is in February in El Salvador, he said, "Hey, so I'm working on this place. It's a house. That's really 2 houses. I put them together, and I'm going to create a Bitcoin hub for education. I'm going to, host events. We're going to do parties." And I'm like, "Dude, we're known for doing Bitcoin parties. So let's keep the conversation going." So started in February, come and talk to Carr, and he's like, "Oh, we're taking Pleb Lab Startup Day to the Yucatan." And, the long story short is we're doing the 3rd edition of the Block Party and Startup Day down in Mérida, October 9th and 10th. We're going to have a great MC. Ward has it that Brandon from Green Candle will be.
Yeah, we're gonna get Brandon from Green Candle to do the MCing in the Yucatan.
Oh, Brad, there's no central bank that can be flashed, but we do have an adventure planned for night 1, for the 9th. So for the plebs that make the trip, we're gonna have something fun. We believe it's gonna become part of that Bitcoin lore that just keeps spreading, and people talk about like, "Oh, were you there for that day?" And you either witness it online or you're there. So we're inviting anyone who can attend to go to beautiful Mérida. It's going to be amazing. It's actually a triple event. It's not just the Block Party and Startup Day. The opening of White Paper House will be happening as well, and there's going to be Spanish talks as well as English mainly for Startup Day. Will be majority English, if not 100%.
Yeah, then we'll have more speakers to announce this month in September, and we're bringing the whole family there, bringing Pleb Lab, and we'll have some announcements, some big Yopanki announcements. I don't know if you want to tease that.
Yeah, it's something we've been working on for a couple of months. Just as we did in Mexico City, we think that the next couple of months, in terms of what we've been building, will have a ripple effect for the entire country. And we're pretty excited to have partners like Pleb Lab and White Paper House make this possible. We're also going to be streaming some of these events through Mexican media. So there's going to be a collaboration of U.S. media and Mexican media.
Yeah, we have Bitcoin News doing some coverage, and then we also have you, Brandon, doing some coverage. So it's going to be really cool to get, to get everybody down there. I can't wait. It's going to be fun, dude. And then plus they have apparently like some of the best beaches and some of the best pyramids and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
Trivia.
the guys in the chat always chirp me when people use this suited picture of me, say I look like a funeral director. So I always say that it's because I'm here for the death of fiat. So that's the way
I love that photo of you.
Nice.
This is Brandon when he's like at his most autistic. It's like when he's just like seeing the green candles like Neo from the Matrix.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited to go. I haven't been able to make it out these past couple of times, but I'm excited to go and hit Mexico with you guys. And obviously, you know, we've had you guys building a bunch of these stuff for the past couple of years. And Francisco, we've hung out like multiple times in Austin. You guys are building some great stuff, all these different startups coming together. But I think bringing it to Latin America is going to be a ton of fun and very unique, because we've seen a lot of the different scenes, obviously, when it comes to, you know, El Salvador. I went down to Medellin, got a taste of the Colombian scene. How would you describe the Mexican scene? And for those people in the chat, what are some things that they could look forward to potentially if they were to come on down to Startup Day?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's very different. So I think we've hung out in El Salvador too. And, one of the things that I think is different from, let's say, the rest of LATAM is scale. You know, when you travel to whether it's Mexico City or upcoming Merida, there's definitely a moment of, wow, if we can continue building Bitcoin the way, we have in a place like this, it's going to blow up. And at that point, we're talking about, a country of 135 million people. So it's pretty massive, the scale that you notice in that. Now, because of it, it comes with additional challenges. The banking system actually works pretty well in Mexico City, in Mexico as a country. But one of the things that the plebs can look forward to, as they come to our events, is the uniqueness and the approach that we've taken now in collaboration with Pleb Lab, that it's not just the traditional conference, right? Because we have so many of those throughout the year. And a lot of times it's the same content, which is great because regional, I get it. Not everybody can travel to the same places, but we do bring a different twist where we like to announce things that we believe will change the ecosystem in the area. We've done it before, and we think that we can do the same for this region. So Daniel has been working on White Paper House for a while, and he does have the energy and the patience to get it going. But by cementing this event, we believe it definitely puts him on the map and goes out to do great things. So and another little nugget, Merida, which is in the state of Yucatan, is the safest state in the country. So if you ever go online and you're scared about traveling to Mexico, which I always feel it's an exaggeration, Yucatan is the safest state in the country.
The other thing I'll mention too is like, just so people know that like whenever we do like a startup day, there's always like big announcements, like game-changing announcements, whether that's, some of the stuff that's being built in the lab, it gets announced there first. From the startups in Pleb Lab, or just like Pleb Lab announcements in general. We're going to be announcing one of the companies inside of our startup accelerator. Jippy's going to be making an announcement, a big announcement too as well. So you're going to be hearing from some of the potentially biggest companies that are coming out of the ecosystem. The other thing I should mention too is just the amount of money that's been deployed just in Mexico. We were talking about VC earlier. It's like over 900 million. That's the amount of VC money that's been deployed just in Latin America to its founders and investors. So just Latin America in general is just doing far better as far as just capital that's being deployed. The other thing I'll mention is just it's 13th on just real crypto calling it crypto, but crypto adoption, 13th. And that's 13th for Mexico. So that's just showing you like where everything's headed. Obviously, we're Bitcoiners, so we're going over there to say, hey, there's a better way. Like that. And then not only that, we really want to show people that what we do here in Austin, you know, like with the accelerator and with the hackerspace and building Bitcoin companies, that not only can you do that in your city and town, but hey, here's the city toolkit of how to do that. So we're going to show you how to do it. We're going to spend a little time there with the builders in Plub Lab. We're going to show you some of the startups. It's going to be Car, it's going to be Francisco. We're all going to be there as mentors and show you how to do it. And then go off and do it yourself. Like start doing these amongst your own community. Because I know they're going to be able to do it. Like we want to show you how to do it. And then maybe next year we'll find a different city and we'll help those people too. And I think this is how you build a sustainable Bitcoin ecosystem so that other people can do it. You're doing it in Tampa. So it's the same thing.
The boys are doing it out here for sure. I can't take too much credit on it. I'm just here, man.
Hey, we all have jobs, Brandon. You're just doing your job. But you know what I'm trying to say is like you were talking about. I'm kind of getting worried about like they're buying up all the Bitcoin. Well, how do you mitigate that? You mitigate that by building these sustainable grassroots communities. You can only do that by showing people the path. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, to Tampa's credit, I know you guys have University of Texas. I mean, I'm always going to be horns down. You know, I'm an Aggie at heart. So,
yeah.
But I mean, I know you guys have a big Bitcoin curriculum out there too. And, you know, shout out to the boys at Tampa. They just got one here at the University of Tampa. So that's making some waves on the interweb or that Bird app, you know. So, you know, I mean, I definitely see that. Yeah, the circular economy is growing here, and I'm excited to go and see it in Mexico. And yeah, I mean, it seems like you guys always have a very successful event. And what is one thing that you guys outside of there? What is like one thing that that's special about not just like the White Paper House, but that area in general? Is there like good beaches that they can people can go and look forward to? What is there good? Of course, there's good food there, but is there like better food down in this area? Is there some special dish that everybody's got to try when we're going down there? What do you think, Francisco?
100%. Yeah. So there's, I don't know if you've ever heard of cochinita pibil, but it is the regional style taco. It's the most incredible thing you'll have. It is, you know, it's a specialty. So the food, I would say it's one of the top 5 cuisines in the entire country. So you're going to get a run for your money on that. So the food is amazing. Beaches, beautiful beaches. No surf though, but there's spear fishing. There's cenotes. Are you familiar with cenotes? It's like an underground cave where you can swim. So there's clear crystal water. There's lots of that. The event itself is in downtown. Downtown is a very, very historical place where the architecture is, you know, from Spanish days, colonial buildings. So that in itself has a lot of culture, which we do praise ourselves in attaching Bitcoin to culture. It has worked for us. So we'll be playing on that as well. And the coffee, you know, Yucatan is right next to Chiapas, which is one of the biggest coffee regions in the country. So you'll get good coffee, good food, good beaches, and of course, you know, good friends.
And the other thing too, we're bringing Chef Johnny Ochoa too as well. So we'll be eating
the
good.
Legend.
Yeah, we're bringing our Bitcoin chef, so we'll be eating good from the stuff that he sources down there. So yeah, I'm excited, dude. I think it's always a good time when we're in Mexico.
Nightlife's amazing too. Just throwing it out there. The nightlife is amazing.
Yeah. Plus you get to hang out with the Plub Lab crew, and that's always a good time. You know,
I'll be a wild man out there in the nightlife. if you're encouraging me to, Francisco, twist my arm a little bit, man.
Yeah. I mean, when you get, how many times do we hang out all the time whenever you're in Austin. It's always a blast hanging out with Brandon. I mean, you need to get the green candies to come out there, man.
I know. So we've got nearly 300 of you guys across Twitter and YouTube. So you guys all need to come on down. Why don't you tell them a little bit? I mean, I put the website in the chat. But where else can they find out some more information about you guys or, you know, the event as we get closer to it?
So there's two sources. Obviously, if you go to our website, and our Twitter channel is where we're really promoting it. So @Yopaki_. You can find links both on Twitter and also on Pleb Lab's website. All the information is going to be there. As we get closer, which now we're officially under 60 days, we're going to be posting more and more. We anticipate that it's going to sell out. It's not a huge venue. So, the sooner you get your tickets, it's better. Also for accommodations, there's great partners that we have in terms of hotels that can pay in Bitcoin. They're accepting Bitcoin. They're partners and friends of ours. So, if you have any questions, please DM me. I think that's...
Yeah, the other thing I would say is like 100% buy your plane ticket now. Get your ticket now. It's going to be a full week of activities. You're going to be able to, I would even say do this. Like, this is what we were in San Antonio last month, and what I did was, like, I told everybody, I was like, get your plane ticket now, right? Like, get it while it's still cheap. So do that first. And then the second thing is, like, once it gets closer, once Bitcoin starts going up, then get your ticket, right? Don't wait too long. Get your ticket then, right? And then once you got your plane ticket and you got your regular ticket, then you're just going to have a great time. The food's all paid for there, so you're going to have all the food. We're not going to let you go drinkless, so we'll have drinks flowing. Don't worry about that. And then you're going to have a great time, like, right? And then also, too, I think me and Francisco are trying to figure out the lodging and stuff, but they all accept Bitcoin over there. Price will be running up, so we'll be fine there. But I would say get the plane ticket, then get your regular ticket, and then after that, like, you're just going to have the best time ever. Like, bunch of really cool people you're going to be hanging out with. A bunch of expats are going to be down there. Just some of the best people in the world. You're going to meet Brandon Keys. You're going to meet Francisco. You're going to meet me. You're going to meet the rest of the guys, crazy cypherpunks from Pleb Lab. You're going to meet the Muzzman. Oh, we forgot to say the Muzzman's coming.
He's coming.
The Muzzman's coming, so you're going to be able to meet some really cool people there. And then on top of that, you're going to be hanging out at you're going to be there for the inaugural Bitcoin Hub, the white paper house that's getting launched. Look, and then you have all these.
Yeah, just keep scrolling down.
Yeah, you got all these people that are coming. We're going to be. You can even see some pictures there if you keep going. We got G from Alamo Labs from San Antonio's coming.
Let's see.
And we'll be making some more announcements too as well. We'll have some swag that we'll be giving out.
If you keep scrolling, Brandon.
Yeah, if you keep scrolling down.
Let's see.
There'll be play that video too that shows you more about Merida, but. It's gonna be a blast, dude. I mean, who doesn't want to hang out at the beach and like hang out with a bunch of crazy Bitcoiners? Like, it's
oh wow, look at this.
Dude. I mean, beautiful.
Yeah, I
women.
mean, this looks beautiful.
Like, seriously.
Oh, what's that? Am I gonna find my wife out there? Is that what you're telling me?
You might find your wife, right? Like, there's another. There's that too.
Just like that, yeah.
Bring your wife too, right? Like, that's. I mean, that's gonna be another thing too. Like, look at that, dude. Like, who doesn't? And then like, it's gonna be super inexpensive too. Like, dude.
It's going to be fun, man.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
I mean,
it's going to be a blast, and I anticipate all of you guys to be there. And so,
it might sell out. I mean, it might actually sell out right now. It's probably. Did you drop the Zaprite link in there? Drop the Zaprite link.
All right, I'll drop the Zaprite link.
The green candies are going to buy these right now, dude. Like,
yeah, you guys got to scoop all this up ASAP.
You could run up the pyramid right now.
No, you cannot do that.
You could run up the pyramid like Mr. Beast. And you can throw the bits. We might throw the bit signal on there. Yeah. I mean, Mr. Beast can do it. Why can't we do it?
Yeah, right? Amen to that. Well, we'll do that. You guys go to that Zaprite. Go buy your tickets right now. And guys, any last parting words before we sign off to the Green Candle chat here?
Start stacking 21 Bitcoin. Like your
there we go.
That's it. Huh?
That's it. That's my last words.
See you in October.
Yeah.
See you guys in Yucatan.